It's there! Holy moly, this one's going to go big.
Hello and welcome back to the channel. Back in 2018 I made this video, originally uploaded July 2018 on the old Degsy Degworth channel, re-uploaded on the new channel September 2022, and it was covering two families of machines which I lumped together even though they were by two different companies. One of them was called Extreme, one of them is called Global, and I basically put them together because these were £25 jackpot machines that would cycle round 50 quid every so often, and I actually referred to them there as £50 jackpot machines. However, one thing that I made quite clear when it came to the Extremes was that in their pre-rechipped versions, they were capable of £100, but Extreme rechipped them to flatten out the profile, take out that £100 repeater, and essentially put them down to a single jackpot plus repeat or a jackpot plus invincible board, or however they wanted to do the 50 quid. Far flatter profile, 25 plus 25 instead of the original 100. I also drew attention to the fact that all of these Extremes, and honestly, they're all basically the same. A common thing that they had up at the top there, you can see both Jackpot and the Bean Streak and this one here, 25, have it. This kind of Mega Streak belt at the top for the top feature on the machine. If you add all those values up, you get £100. However, on the rechips, you'll never see those go past 50, and up to now, it's been those £50 rechip ROMs that we've had emulated. Now, a few of these Extremes have been released over the years. I haven't really bothered to cover them because I cannot stress enough that they all feel like the back-end code is basically the same. I mean, you can see that these two machines here are very, very similar. You've got the same entry trail, you've got the same win plan, you've got your cash ladder, your feature ladder, a wraparound board, and the only real difference is that Jackpot and the Bean Streak has this sort of start to finish super trail with mega notes at the top, whereas 25 does it with a slightly different matrix style trail. But even there, if you get away from the cosmetic difference, it's effectively the same thing. So perhaps more than any other family of machines, with the Extremes, it was like, if you've covered one, you've covered them all. Whenever one of them got released, I would fire it up, I'd use autoplay to lump a chunk of cash through it, and see if we ever got one that could do the £100 repeat, and always they would cap out at the 50. And what I found with these over the years, of Jackpot and the Bean Streak here is a very good example, and it's one that I used for that video back in 2018, is the machine just will not let itself get very far behind. Once it gets the drift to be able to afford the 50, it will basically do it. So even a fairly average collecty kind of autoplay profile will take that 50 out when it's ready. It just won't get that far behind. It doesn't do any kind of saving for a big streak. 50 is your lot. And that was always the case right across the years, so I never revisited them. I always held out hope, though, that one day we'd get one of these things that would actually do the £100 repeat, and yes, we've finally got one. It's this fella here called 25. And this one can do the £100 Mega Streak top, and it will do it off those notes there. It will fill in every single note for £100. Now remember, the £100 jackpot kicked off in 2003, so we are going back, we're 20 years here. 20 years ago, £100 essentially cash jackpot on a fruit machine. Of course, £25, we're into the all cash era. So £100 cash was not to be sniffed at, and this machine can do it. And the way it does it is kind of as you'd imagine. It just plays meaner. It will block at £5 for longer, because one of the other things I talked about in the original video was how rigid the £5 block on these things is. Well, on this one here, 25, it will just block at £5 for a long time. It will unlock a £25 jackpot once in a while, and it can do a 50, a 75 or 100. I have seen it do all of them off the top, but it will, every so often, it will save enough to dump 100 off the top. But obviously there is a price that the player must pay for that, because the overall payout is still the same. Here we've got them set to 84%. So the only way that it can afford that £100 is play like an absolute dick a lot of the time. These flatter profile 50 quid capable ones can be pretty tiresome when they're blocking at a fiver. But this one here, 25, if you catch that after the 75 or the 100 in particular, you are in for a miserable experience. It doesn't stop offering you wins or boards. It will still give you wins and boards on a reasonably regular basis. It does seem to be coded to do that, but they are just hard blocked at 5 quid. And it can give you the runaround as well. I guess the idea is, what they were going for here is that even on a machine that's blocking at a fiver, you could feel that you were getting a half decent run for your money, so you could get a win, you could gamble a couple of times, exchange into the feature, go round the board, get your stacks up a little bit. It can even put you into the superboard here, this superboard matrix at the top. There's a lot of stuff on there that can award way less than a fiver, add some values to the cash pot, and so on and so forth, but you're just not getting more than a fiver off it, and it can keep that up for a long time. So I've got to say, even though the win potential is obviously less on the flatter £50 rechips, I think Extreme made the right decision to go down that route, because whilst the headline sort of attraction, as it were, of a £25 jackpot machine that could just give you a straight £100, that could be quite appealing, the price that you pay in terms of this blocking at £5 behaviour that it can keep up for an awful long time does get very tedious. Now, back in this original video, I kind of talked quite a bit about these machines, the way that they were rechipped and their behaviour, so I'll link to that in the description of this video, because I don't think there's any point really in redoing the whole thing. And certainly not, I don't think we need to play Jackpot on the Bean Streak again, because that is very much covered in that video there. So what I want to show you here is that big £100 repeater, because I've got this one ready to do 100 quid. As ever with these things, it may or may not behave itself. It's not a big deal. If it dicks me, I can go back to the RAM and GAM file and we can try again. But certainly from where we are here, if we can catch this right, it'll do 100 quid. Even there, though, it doesn't like to get stupidly behind. One of the things that I've done in videos on the channel recently is show how some machines, even, you know, relatively modern machines, can get very, very far behind percentage, particularly if you've got quite a gentle collecty stuff autoplay profile. This one won't do it. It will only get so far. It'll get 100 odd quid behind, and then it will auto-correct with that £100 mega. And it can do it as simply as you can land on this little kind of icon there, the cash card icon, and it will just add all three icons in at once. If it really needs to correct its percentage, it'll make it as easy as possible to get out to that mega notes at the top there. And it can do it just filling in multiple icons off a single square on the normal board there. I've seen autoplay do that a few times. So yes, it will save for a £100 streak, but not much more than that. Even autoplay can't help but get the big streak. And if you're a human player, the machine is properly trying to lob that money at you. So on one level, you can't really knock them for that, because one of the things I've been talking about in those videos where the machines have been way, way, way behind percentage, is that it's a bit sketchy that a compensated machine that should be targeting its percentage can allow itself to get so far adrift. So on one level, you'd say, well, fair enough, even though it doesn't really make it much of a skillful proposition, in that you're almost at the point where the autoplay in MFME, which is, inverted commas, dumb, you can try and put a little bit of logic in there, but ultimately it's just randomly pressing buttons at certain frequencies, and the machine won't let itself get far behind even in that state. But it will do something, 25 will do something that Jackpot and the Bean Streak will not, and that is save up for 100 quid. So let's see if we can catch it on camera, because I've been wanting to demonstrate this one over the years. I was kind of hoping that at some point we'd get a ROM set where it was a thing, and it is on this. So what I'll do here is try and get us onto the board, and it should be ready to dump it onto us. But it can still be surprisingly arsey about it. Now, I could have done there really with a bigger feature entry than that. Sometimes you can get, if you get the multi-ad. Oh, see there, but there, it gave us 3 icons straight off the bat there to open the superboard. The multi-ad can sometimes give you a really generous boost at the start of the feature. So, you've got this really nice, can you see that little digital display up there, which it does with bulbs? I quite like that. That's a nice little touch. And that shows you which space on the board you're going to get to. So once you're on the superboard, you do have a high-low gamble. So that's turned everything red. I could have a gamble on those if I wanted to. We'll go higher than the 3. So there we have got the super boost. So the number that it gives us on that little display there will be the number that we go to. That's fine. So obviously we're going to go lower than the 12. We're going to go lower than the 10. When it's blocking, by the way, as you would expect, it will kill you on anything on these. When it doesn't want you to get past a certain point, 2s and 11s are absolutely certain death. The same goes, by the way, for anything else on here. Let's just see if we might get lucky there. Oh, just the one icon there. That's the icon that it can give you all 3 of them at once off. Oh, there we go. So yeah, when it's blocking, as far as I'm aware, there was no way to get through the blocks on these, not like the old Maygays or anything like that. If you catch one of these that's blocking at a 5er, it's just blocking at a 5er, and that's the end of it. And it will lose on anything when it needs to make that happen. What do you reckon? We'll go lower than the 10 for the end here. Yay! Right, okay then, let's see if we can get the 100. Now, what it might do here is it might give us a flat 25, but then climb out again and do 100. So let's see. Obviously, we're going to get the first 25 here. And again, it does it on that little display there. I could do quite like that. That's a nice touch. That would have been a nice touch on the real machine. Works well on the layout as well. So there's our first 25. So far, so much the same. Now then, can we get... out, Rogue, that's not the end of the world. I've seen it do this a couple of times. So what I'm going to do now is just... So what we'll do there is like so. So that's going to max us out. You can often get a very good... Oh, that looks to me like it's going to be a £5 block board. What we'll do is carry on playing and just go for it. So we have got our golden shots there, which we can lose. Oh, it's still putting us straight into the superboard, though. Let's have a look, shall we? Oh, I didn't actually mean... I meant to... Oh, it's giving me a true skill there. So let's take another... Well, we can use our... See our little golden shots there. It can give you the full entry like we got there, though, and absolutely be blocking at a 5. But let's see what it wants to do. We've got add fruit there, which is not really going to help us. So look at the... Okay. Oh, it's giving me a true skill again. I've got an extra life, remember, so we are on the super board, so let's do a bit of that. Could do with another 1 there, really, and get the super boost. Let's see where that wants to go. 5. That's not very good, is it? Go for that. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, and it is just going to let us... Oh, no, there we go. You'll see here, by the way, if it doesn't let me... we've been playing a bit here already, haven't we? Oh, bollocks, no, this doesn't look promising. What can you see here? It can give you a little bit of time on the board and feel like you're getting a bit of gameplay. And then you look at what you've been offered, and it's like £2 or £3. So, on the one hand, okay, fair enough that they allowed you to get some gameplay even on a dead machine. But it very, very quickly becomes frustrating if just board after board after board is just blocking at a £5. It gets quite tiresome. I honestly don't. I mean, without autoplay, this one wouldn't have happened at all. Autoplay, as ever with these things, has done a lot of the heavy lifting. And I think as an actual machine to play, even though this has got the £100 in it, it's a worse machine to play than the £50 version. So probably the right decision, I would think, from Extreme to decide to change the profile on these and turn them into essentially £50 jackpot machines. Let's try some sketchy gambles on these numbers. So you see there, we've got the super board open on. Super boost, where does that want to go? It's like you kind of feel like you're getting somewhere, but then you look at what you can actually collect and it's not guaranteeing you more than a £5. Oh, what do you reckon? Oh, I didn't think we were actually starting to get close to the goodish stuff there, so I didn't think it. Let's go away with that. Let's have a look. See, the thing is, it can give you super knockouts there, and then because the trails are so low, it really doesn't help us. What have we got there? Back 3 is just a nudge, isn't it? Let's just see if we can get anything off that. I have a horrible feeling it's going to dick us here before we get... Okay. No, didn't want that one. And I didn't have an extra life on that board, did I? It should hopefully, if it's doing... There's several different ways it can get itself back to percentage here. Because this one can afford... It's about £130 behind, which honestly... is about as far as you can get it. I actually had to take over from the autoplay because even the autoplay was just managing to take a 50 out of it or a 75, and I wanted to get it into the state where it could do 100. But I also saw it do 100 naturally with the autoplay. But I didn't want to run the risk of the autoplay taking a 50 or a 75 out of it before it could afford a 100. Oh, this is... Oh, I think we're going to have another £5 block board here. Extra life. It doesn't matter. It's all for nothing, this. It really is. I've not heard any suggestion about these that you could trick them through the block or do a quick steal or anything like that. I don't remember them being any chat around them. Back in the day when these were current... It was just a force and hope for the best, and if they were blocking, they were blocking. If there was something on them, then honestly I missed it, but I don't think there was. So this is just all slightly... We can use our golden shot. I mean, we have got £6 in the cash pot there, but the cash pot isn't actually available to collect. That's another thing it can do, is climb the cash pot up past a £5, but then not... allow you to fill in all the fruit matrix to actually get the cash pot active. It's actually playing a little bit dicky here, isn't it? We'll stick with it. I'm hoping it'll let me climb it out again fairly soon. Bearing in mind, though, that this machine owes us over £100 here. It's comfortably behind, but it's just that first 25, which you saw it let us get very, very easily. It's just decided now that it wants to take that back before it's going to up, or take a chunk of it back before it's going to... that's not great either. Before it's going to let us get it again. So, which is quite frustrating. Not really much that we can do about that. It should open up the super trail if it wants to. Oh, God almighty. There we are. As you know, skill stops are my speciality. I could have actually used the bonus there to go back to one of the satellites. It doesn't really matter though, to be honest. If it doesn't want you to do it, you're not going to do it. Right, okay, let's try again. Could do another advanced one there, get the super boost, yeah, okay, let's see what it dials in for us. No, we've just gone past the other boost as well, which is a bit annoying. Oh, for fuck's sake. So at least here you are seeing what it's like when it blocks at £5. And like I said, if you catch it wrong, it can do this for a long time. Now, bearing in mind here that this is doing this to me on a machine that is under percentage and really needs to pay out some money, imagine what it can do when it's just kicked out 100 and it's bang on percentage, or even a little bit over. I even autoplay managed to take this a little bit over percentage with a 100, and then it was £5 block board city for a depressing amount of time after that. It's just been a twat. I'm going to try and force it into one of the better entries. Shall we try a feature? Sometimes a feature exchange can put you in a decent spot. Let's just gamble. Okay, we're gambling up a little bit. Okay, we'll keep going. Can you see here, though, my exchange is... Right, okay, this could be an annoying feature, couldn't it? Have we got... So I could use an ad again there. Oh, in fact, let's use that. Surely all those golden shots are going to put me through a fiver. It can't fail not to give me more than a fiver here, surely. See there, I'm using my little golden shots thing, all of those. So we've got more than a fiver on the cash pot there. I'm just going to... There we are. Right, okay. So now we should be on the way. I was never quite sure on these if they had another block at 10 and or 15. What I found is once you've gone through the 5, that 5 was the big one. Oh, there you go. Oh, there you go. There you go. It's done it straight away. As soon as the block came off, it did the 25. Right, okay then. Well, definitely 25. So there's, hopefully it's the 100. But you saw there, first board that the block came off, boom. The boards before that, hard block at £5. Block comes off, back, right, there you go, have a top. Now, so there's 25. I'm hoping this will go on now. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. There we go. Right, now it should do the other 15 now. Come on. Oh, come on, it should do it. It should do it. There we are. So there's 50 now. There's our 50. The old ones could do this. Jackpot and the Bean Streak here could do that. But let's see. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. Yes, there's 75. There's 75. Right, okay, now, those chips on those other extremes that we've had emulate, they cannot do that. They just won't do that. And it can, if it wants to here, do the 100. Can we have the 100? There's no guarantee here. It might still stiff me, but come on. Come on. Come on. Yes, there you go. It's the 100. There is the 100. Boom. And watch what happens now. It'll auto-collect, but look. It doesn't try. Just watch. See there? It doesn't try to go on. It doesn't even pretend. It can start to go round again. Once you've got your 100, that is it. But you can see there that these are £100 capable ROMs. And now we are going to be back in. Just for the sake of argument, I'll show you the next board. But I think we can all have a guess at what this is going to be doing. Let's see who we'll get on. Because it will put you on the board now. So let's just collect our bank out. So, yes, on these ROMs that are £100 capable, obviously you do have that potential there to win more. On a single visit to this machine, you can win more. But from a gameplay perspective, and I'd almost say from a player perspective, even thinking back to me in the day when I was playing fruit machines for money, I think I'd still prefer to have the £50 profile because you just couldn't go too far wrong on those. Whereas these here can be absolute pigs. So fair play, we have won there. Can you see? 24 quid in, 125 quid out. So I've just made a £100 profit, but you are left now with a machine that is going to play diabolically for an extended period of time. I mean, I'll take us onto the board. Okay, so it's given... So that should actually go... Right, no, you know what? If I was actually not... Oh, God. Excuses. I'm on my bloody little laptop here. Oh, I actually hit it. I'm slightly surprised that I hit it there. So we've got the full Monty. We've got the full Monty board start. What do you... So we can fill up the matrix there. So we've got the cash pot active. We've got an extra life. Let's see. Okay. Let's use our golden eggs here, or golden shots rather. We've got the high-low active. Let's see if we can push it through a fiver. I'll use my golden shot. Oh, there we are, high-low bonus. Doesn't really matter what order you do it in. Look at that cash pot staying nice and low there. That won't be in a hurry to fill up either. Oh no. Okay, we can do. As long as I. Oh, I thought I fucking hit that there. Not that it really matters because it can piss you about with the extra. We're coming up to Death Alley here, aren't we? Oh, what do you reckon? You get the idea. We all know what a machine that's blocking at a fiver looks like. Now, the old ones could do that as well. Of course they could. But it's far more amplified. Take it from me. I've seen it quite clearly when I've been getting this machine ready for this video. It just becomes tedious and really quite painful. To every few quid, you're going to get a win, you get a board, and it's saying you're not having more than a fiver. Now, you saw it in a very binary fashion there. When the block came off, it went straight to the top. It won't always do that. Sometimes there'll be a little bit more linear progression through the values. But fundamentally, you've got a £5 block, or you've got a climb to a jackpot, and then you've got, on these, you've got 50, 70, 100, 50, 75, 100. On 25, you've got that. On Jackpot on the Bean Streak, you're just stuck with a 50. I'd take the 50 version. Thinking back to going out round the pubs here, I'd rather have a decent shot at a 50 and not losing too much if it's just a flat 25 than what this one here can do, 25, which is a far more lumpy profile, a far more volatile profile. Because if you think about it, the amount that it's returning to the player, the percentage payout is the same. So the only way it can give you these 75s and these 100s is to become more volatile with more pronounced peaks and troughs. So for me, I'd prefer the 50 version. I always thought back in the day that, it's a bit of a shame we never had the 100s, or the 100 capable ones around here. But having properly kicked them around in the emulator, I've revised my opinion a little bit. And we've also got to remember that we're being slightly flattered by emulator percentages here. Remember, you could be finding these in the pubs on maybe 74, 76%. In the emulator, we can have them on a far kinder 84 to 86%. However, I'm glad that we have now finally got one of these extremes running the £100 capable ROMs. I've been hoping that they'd turn up over the years, and this is the first time that I've seen them, so I thought it was worth making a video about, because rather than just talking about, hey, you know what, apparently there were these early chips of these that could fill up the whole thing at the top and give you 100 quid. You just saw it with your own eyes. They could do it. And it does also slightly make a mockery of the jackpot increases over the years, doesn't it? Because it was years and years later that we officially got the £100 jackpot, but here you are in the £25 era with a machine that very clearly has effectively a £100 jackpot, and it just shows us how these things really lost their way over the years from that original concept of amusement with prizes into what are far more really serious gambling devices, aren't they? And now they're gone. So, thank you very much for watching. I do hope you've enjoyed this video, and I will catch up with you next time. But for now, it is goodbye.